Hi, this is Dr. Mercola, and today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about food preparation. Now, if you've been following my site for a while, you know that I'm a strong proponent of eating as much raw food as possible, and personally I like to try to get to 80 to 90%. Now, unfortunately, that's just not practical for me most of the time, and certainly for many of you. But the key to remember, of course, is that we want to have the bulk of our diet not only raw but unprocessed, high-quality food, preferably organic and biodynamic. But when you are going to cook your food, it's really crucial that you pay careful attention to how you prepare the food and what utensils you use. And that's what I'd like to talk to you a little bit about. Now, many of you may not be aware, if it's non-stick, very slippery, then it's made of a fluoride polymer, which has some concerns that you need to be aware of. Now, those pots and pans are perfectly safe as long as you don't heat them up. Now, of course, that's not why you purchase them. You purchase them because you're going to cook your food in it. So the moment you put heat to it, and the higher the heat surface, the worse it is, that fluoride polymer is actually going to volatilize into the atmosphere, creating a fluoride gas, and especially in the winter, that is going to increase the concentration in your home and cause potential health problems. And if you're not familiar with this, just look it up on my site, because these are real health risk. So I strongly recommend that if you have any non-stick cookware in your home that you find a relative or a neighbor that you don't care for, and give them away. Not really, I recommend that you throw them away, because you want to find a better quality one. So what are the options that you can take? Well, you could use aluminum cookware. Now, aluminum, of course, is documented pretty well to be a potentially toxic ion that you don't want to consume or have in your body. So nix the aluminum. Then, of course, you can go a step up into stainless steel cookware, and that's certainly better. But even stainless steel has a tendency to leach some of those metallic ions, and it can also increase the risk of certain allergic reactions in some people. So ideally, the best surface to use is a type of glass structure, and glass cookware itself is somewhat cumbersome to use. So ceramic coated seems to be a lot easier. In fact, that is the exact type of cookware that we used to carry. We used to carry ceramic coated iron cookware, but we had some challenges with that, and there are a number of them. Many of our customers were reporting that it was just simply too heavy to use and it was cumbersome. So that was one. But even more importantly, when we examined this more carefully, even though it was a very safe cookware, there was nothing wrong with it. When you look at the holistic perspective, that actually extracting the iron from the earth and processing it, there was lots of extra energy that was being used, environmental burdens that were just a challenge. So we looked at the whole picture. We felt that there were better options. So our team searched long and far, and we did find a better option. That's what I want to talk to you about today. And that better option is ceramic cookware. Now, you may not have heard of it. I certainly didn't hear of it before our team found this, but it's really an amazing cookware. The ceramic itself is actually unlike glass, very resistant to cracking, so that you could take this cookware and you could heat it up to over 2,700 degrees, and that temperature is high enough to melt most metals. And so you could get this red hot, and you could actually take that hot pan and put it, or pot, and put it into a bucket of water, and it would not crack. It's guaranteed to not crack for 50 years, even under those most extreme conditions. But more importantly, it's a relatively non-stick finish, and it's very resistant to just about anything that you can do to it with respect to scratching it or denting it. It just can't do it. I mean, if you take a metal fork or spoon and you try to scrape your food out, you will not cause a scratch or a dent in the cookware, because it's just such a strong and resistant surface that doesn't happen. Now, you may discolor it a little bit, but that might be because you're scraping off some of the metal onto the pot, but that can easily come off. So one of the other interesting components of it is that because of the ceramic, it has an intrinsic component to it that actually stores heat. So that ceramic stores the heat, and it's actually somewhat of an insulator, so that when you have, I'm going to show you a pot here, and this comes with a lid, but if you've got it on a hot surface in the bottom, the heat will transfer up, but it won't go all the way up typically, and so the handles will be relatively cool. But especially when you've got the lid on it, the heat tends to be maintained within the cookware itself, and it radiates this infrared, so that helps accelerate the cooking process, saves you energy, and actually improves the flavor of the food. So it's a really marvelous surface, and it's very, very lightweight. So that is really key. But it does have one challenge to it, and it's somewhat like glass. you have to be careful with it because it's relatively fragile, so you don't want to be throwing it around because that would not be good, just like if you had a ceramic plate. But other than that, it is just an amazing piece of cookware. It's one that I'm actually giving away to many of my friends and family this holiday season. So hopefully this information is helpful because, as I mentioned earlier, it really is crucial that you pay attention, pay careful attention to the details of how you're preparing your food, because you just simply don't want to introduce any unnecessary toxins. So hopefully this information will keep you and your family healthy and helping allow them to take control of their health.